Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about why language learning is messy and how to handle it. And I kind of got this concept from like productivity is messy as well. I remember like a few content creators talking about that. And you know, everyone thinks productivity is being perfect and things like that. But yeah, the same applies to language learning as well, where it can be very messy. And I'll talk about how I deal with that in this video. Welcome on this channel. I share my journey to learning languages as a Muslim. Productivity is messy. What do I actually mean by that? Well, some people think, oh, I'm going to have a perfect calendar. I'm going to have a to-do list. I'm going to work for it one by one. I'm going to cross things off nicely. But that isn't how things work. And, you know, throughout my years, I definitely know like it never works like that. You know, you hit an issue, something comes in the way. I've got kids, they might come in the way, or someone might fall ill, or your computer stops working, or suddenly you realize, oh, there's something else that's come up, or you've got this appointment. So there's all of these kind of things you've got to kind of be aware of. And, you know, productivity can be messy. But the exact same thing happens to language learning as well. Like, you know, you don't just learn things A, B, C, D, and then that's it. You kind of remember it and then it's all done. No, you learn things, you forget things. You know, certain things you might find easier to remember than other. For example, like the days of the week, like I keep remembering what lundi is Monday in French, but then Tuesday I keep forgetting what it is, and then Wednesday is like mercredi. So yeah, it's just sometimes just your brain works differently, and it doesn't always just kind of learn things like a cyborg. We're not cyborgs, they don't just download data and that's it. And this was really relevant, you know, when I was working through like a book before. I was trying to learn language using a book. I was using the Asimil book, and it was really good at first. I was going through books and I was doing really well, but then, you know, I'd hit like a question that was really hard and I forgot what I learned earlier, and then, you know, I'm trying to figure it out, and then I have to look up words, and then yeah, it just was like really messy and I couldn't like really understand it properly. Then I'll do the next question and it'd be like super easy. And you know, that's just how our brains work. Our brains, you know, don't work in this kind of like linear fashion. You have to kind of try different things out and see what happens. And there is loads of cases where I just forget things and I need to practice again, like the verb avoir, which means is to have. Like I always forget like one of the cases, like if you say they have, and I believe that's ils ont, you know, ils ont des amis, so it means they have lots of friends. And then I remember I kept getting confused on that one. I used to confuse it with ils sont, which is like, you know, they are. And yeah, it's just kind of like all of these things like I have to practice, and then the more I practice, the better it kind of gets. Also, I used to be kind of obsessed with my flashcards, like trying to make them neat and things like that. And, you know, definitely within Anki as well, my flashcards are quite messy. I've got lots of different decks and things like that, and it just would spend ages just trying to clean them up and making them look nice. I just used to spend too much time trying to make each card look really nice, and it was just taking ages. And one of the best things I did was like just to accept that language messy. Like, you know, learning languages, there's different grammars, there's tenses, different ways to use it as well. It takes your brain like, you know, time to understand it, and it's not going to work in a linear fashion. It's going to be kind of just however your brain decides to work and build connections, but just need to do it more and more and more. Which led me to the next fact is like, don't spend too long just organizing things. Spend time practicing. That's where I'm going to really make the most benefit. However, that doesn't mean that I just leave everything messy and, you know, I just kind of just leave it in a mess and that's it, and then like things are all over the place, because, you know, I don't like that as well, because that causes stress as well. So yeah, I just don't spend too long trying to make things neat and just kind of neglecting time to actually learn the language. So yeah, that's why it's important to kind of find that balance and don't let, like, you know, try and make things being neat you know, get in the way of your language learning. And honestly, I think making things neat and really clean was a form of me avoiding my language learning. Like, you know, I knew I've got to learn this thing, and I'm kind of avoiding it by just trying to make it neat and neat and neat. So yeah, definitely something I need to be kind of aware of. And, you know, that I am spending time actually trying to learn the language and practicing and doing things, and not just focusing on just organizing and getting things in order. And a really good thing to do is just to kind of clean things up as you go along. So now I have a whole bunch of sort of flashcards and things like that in Anki, and they're a bit messy, but as I'm working and studying through those, I'll just clean the cards up. I'll add a little bit here or do a little bit there, and that works much better than trying to do everything up front in one go, because that just can be like too overwhelming. So yeah, it's totally fine just to have like messy flashcards and just get into it and just tweak them. And also, now that I've been using the flashcards for a while, I know what works for me and what I prefer. And then, you know, rather than trying to figure all of that out beforehand, before I've even done proper, you know, practice with my flashcards, but now that I've used them for a while, I know, okay, let me just tweak this a little bit here, maybe clean this up here, maybe add a little bit of audio here. It's just much more manageable, not overwhelming just by doing that. But the thing is, like, really don't worry if things are messy. That is really normal. And, you know, especially with language learning, you feel like, you know, if you're learning numbers like in French, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I can't remember what 11 is at the moment. I mean, that's just normal, that's fine. As you know, you just keep keep working on things, keep learning, and you know your brain will adapt and it will start to, you know, make connections and things like that. But it doesn't happen like, you know, just like in a linear, just regular fashion. You know, I'm going to learn the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, you learn maybe a few words might be easier than others. Some words might be harder than others. It is just the way your brain is. That it might be maybe that you've heard a word very, like I feel like I've heard lundi a lot before, so that's why maybe it just kind of sticks in my head. And then Tuesday I think is jeudi, I think. Yeah, so like one of those. Just kind of remembering all of these things and how to put the words together your brain will just kind of figure it out. But a really important thing to remember is that, you know, with time, you will be surprised how much you've learned. I mean, I was watching Lupin on Netflix and I was surprised, like, there was bits that I was actually understanding and the bits they were talking about. And, you know, coming from someone that didn't know any French, and now I can sort of make out little bits of the show as well. It's like amazing. It is really time, just practicing, and don't worry about things being so messy. You don't need things to be perfect to get going. It's more important just to make progress and just keep going on and just keep going on. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, please check out my other video, which I'm going to have linked at the top, which is the best app to learn vocabulary, which is Anki, which is a fantastic app, and I go into it in detail in my video.